that's the thing where I'm like, you need to do, not necessarily you need to do it for client work, but like, I think sometimes you need to make things and like just push yourself to kind of, what would the extra 10% be? Whether or not it's painting or whether or not it's like doing the 3D or, whatever. I think it's good to challenge yourself. I mean, I did this car project a couple of years ago, and again, I was like, oh, I want to hit that same level, and it's so difficult to hit that same level. And that's kind of like that's the time put in the seat. That is coming down to how long have you spent doing this, and can you push to that? It's the same with anything. It's like doing a painting and working on the rendering for the the oil painting or whatever, and it's knowing where to go and where to stop.
Please welcome Will Hyde to this episode of the Learn Squared podcast. Will is a concept designer with an obsession for creating and designing, particularly in the hard surface realm. And in this episode, Will reveals why this is the case, as well as his relationship with creative tools and the joys of Blender and his overall craft, having lent his talents to studios like Cloud Imperium Games. We also hear the invaluable experience he has gained working for studios, as well as freelance, and much more. And before we begin, I must share a piece of Learn Squared podcast lore here. If it wasn't for Will, there may not be a Learn Squared podcast. So tune in to find out why. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Learn Squared podcast, and delighted to welcome on the amazing Will Hyde. Welcome, Will.
Hi.
Hello. Let's get right into it. Before we get into all the good stuff, let everybody know who you are, what you do, and all of that good stuff.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm a concept designer. I do lots of sci-fi things and stuff like that.
Sorry, let me take some water. 1 second.
I'm
overheating now. Everyone listening, obviously, as people know, in the UK, we can't handle our heat. And it's been a hot few days recently, so we're melting a little bit. But yeah, your journey. So, a bit of a backstory. Actually, a bit of a Learn Squared podcast lore. Back in the day, before this was even a thing, on the Discord with the challenges, I think you won a few. And from there, that's where the podcast was born. I think you might have been the first one that we recorded, or one of the first few. And although it never got released, it was just on a Discord thing, most likely, if that had never happened, there would be no podcast. So Will is a legendary person.
Yeah, I do remember. I was going to say, we did this ages ago.
Yes.
Ages and ages ago. But yeah, it was just purely on Discord. So yeah, it's kind of weird being on here now.
Where were you at in your, I guess, concept designer life back then?
I think I was at uni.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah. And I think I was on my second. No, might have been the end of my second year at uni. I can't remember. But yeah, and then that was like I remember. I think it was Jan Urschel. He had his little. Was it Jan Urschel that had his course? His like environment design course. Yeah. I think at the time I was I was just talking to a mate about this today. At the time I was using Maya, and this was like before Blender, so it's like use Maya and Keyshot and Octane. So like that's how you'd have to render stuff. And so, I mean, obviously there's a lot of other techniques that are much older, but like at the time that's what you did. So you do your modeling in Maya, export it out to Octane and be like, wow, this looks amazing. Oh, I need to change something on my model. And you have to go back and whatnot. But yeah, so like I think he was doing it in like Cinema 4D or something. I think
his was Modo, perhaps.
Oh, Modo, yeah.
Yeah.
So like
maybe.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think it was Modo. So that's pretty much I think the start, and then I think obviously this being a free flowing conversation, looking at a lot of I think Jan was probably was I think one of the first like got me into like using Blender. So at the time using Maya, I lost my license key because I upgraded and I didn't like the upgrade, so I went to go back and I was like, "Oh, this is great."
I remember that as well. Yeah, happened to me as well.
Yeah, so I picked up Blender from there, and luckily, like doing the Learn Squared Jan, also then uploaded loads of Gumroads for like I think like using Blender and I think like doing all the material graphs for doing like big sci-fi buildings. I was like, oh hell yeah! And then I pretty much learned the software from then. So I think I've been using it like since 2018 October. So
Wow.
it's been a while, but
It
I mean,
has.
yeah, I mean, I won't go on about Blender because yeah,
No, we will definitely. Blender gets a lot of airtime nowadays. I've said this many times, and even back then, like that was at the cusp of when Blender was like, I guess you could say for enthusiasts versus for everybody.
yeah,
And I think it was the up 2.8, I believe. That's one that kind of got me when
that,
you can kind of make it similar to Maya. Maya was my thing as well before the Blender switch. Tried a few others, and yeah, so that was an interesting time. What got you into Maya? Like, what got you into 3D even? Was it uni?
Yeah. So at uni, I mean, we did like, I think we kind of went through the whole workflow pipeline. And it was a bit different then than it is now. Like, I think when I was at uni, it was just changing to like PBR, which is such a weird thing to say, but basically, yeah, the modern game engines with your roughness maps and your metal, all that. That was kind of, I don't know if you remember, but like the Order 1886 came out, which didn't really do well, but it was a really good game, and it was kind of like where a lot of this PBR tech kind of was like first in. I'm probably going to be wrong saying this, and somebody's going to write in the comments actually saying, actually, I think you'll find it was, yeah. So anyway, at the time we were doing like normal maps in Photoshop, and there was nothing like painting like on your models. And at this time at uni, Substance Painter came out and Substance Designer, like the original, like before Adobe bought it, like the original stuff for that came out, and I was like, oh wow, this is kind of cool. And I mean, I wanted to do concept art. I think since forever. But we had some really good lecturers there. So, and I really enjoyed doing the 3D. So I did all the 3D pipeline, the low poly, high poly. You would do a cage to do the bake of the high poly, but I don't think you need to do cages anymore. I think sometimes you can just bake directly onto the low poly. I can't remember. I think you do that in Substance now. So anyway, a lot's changed since when I did it. But yeah, I mean, I think learning the 3D pipeline is super helpful. I mean, in a games environment, the easier it is that you understand what your like team is doing. It's so much more beneficial for everyone because you can do concept assets and work with a team super easy. And I think it's just beneficial, especially if you want to go into games. I mean, maybe not so much in film, knowing too much about the pipeline because it doesn't really matter. But like, yeah. In games. Sorry. Super useful. So yeah.
Have you stuck with 3D throughout? Have you like ventured into different things? And have you even had that bit where you thought, forget digital, I'm going back to traditional?
I don't know. I think 3D's, it's kind of a pain. I love painting. And it's something I used to do a lot of, but I think, I don't know. I think I'm a proper nerd when it comes to 3D because I mean, I don't know, maybe recently I've been trying to, make sure the topology's nice and all that kind of thing. And I don't know, there's something about 3D. But yeah, I do like enjoy painting, and I think it's nice when you can like do a bit of both. And I think the 3D can help painting, like again, learning how lighting works and stuff like that. And I mean, like again, painting you can study from life, but I think you can get a bit more. You can get knowledge just as well looking at 3D scenes. But I think it's all a bit. Everything's different. I think I enjoy doing different things. Just at the minute, it's just. I mean, it might change in 6 months' time. I'm gonna be like, I hate 3D. I mean, it's one of those things you just go back and forth through. Like, I literally every year go through phases of going, nah, I hate 3D. This sucks. Oh yeah, yeah. Look how cool this is. This is great. I love 3D. So I guess it just depends on how you feel, and also like what projects you're working on. Because I feel like if you're working on something, I don't know, super clean in sci-fi, you're going to be like, yeah, 3D's amazing. Like, I want to do some CAD work. And then you want to go work on something that's a bit more like fantasy, mythical, maybe it's a bit nicer to be seeing some brushstrokes in the image and not just all 3D. So, yeah, I do enjoy 3D. we'll
Do
see.
you think? Do you think like when you get those moments where like like you just said, like I hate 3D, obviously, half jokingly, but do you think it is more down to the project and that kind of frustrates you into disliking 3D, or is it more the opposite, thinking I want something else?
I think honestly, yeah, maybe the project. I think it's trying to like, it's when you get like stuck in the real like nitty gritty of it. It's like when you want to make something and you can't because you have to like, oh, I've got to make sure my topologies looks really good, or, like, I mean, maybe it's a bit lazy, but it's like kind of like, I like CAD at the minute because you can do shapes and you can punch holes and stuff. And like, the program doesn't really have a problem with it and it's great. But then you try to make something really weird and it goes, no, we can't make that on this program. And like, doing sub D in Blender, it's super easy to make nice, weird shapes. Beautiful. And I love that. But then as soon as you want to punch a hole in it, it's like, okay, the normals are broken and it's your turn to figure this out and fix it. So I think like, it really depends on the project, but I think, I guess it's like tackling and battling with the kind of the technical side to these things, which is a little bit of a pain in the ass. So I don't know. I think, the project definitely, I guess, determines if it's a fun 3D experience or not. But also like working with different people. Like, I mean, I love Plasticity, great software, shout it out. And I love like, it has this live link with Blender. I can do all the materials in Blender and like model it all in Plasticity. And it's so good. But if you're working with someone else and you've got to pass this file back and forth, be like, oh yeah, by the way, in the outline, you've got this giant Plasticity folder with this. By the way, that's all of my model and all of the normals are broken. So if you want to take it apart and edit it, it won't work. So yeah, it's, I guess it's all like different 3D is different experiences. So I mean, it's again, like 3D coat again, you've got voxels and giant poly counts and it's like, oh, it looks great. And then as soon as you bring it into something, it's like into like Blender, it's like, no, I can't do it. So, it's all different software will have their own special weird things. But yeah, I think definitely the software I think will matter on the project and matter how much I hate it.
Have you found like a nice safe zone, like you mentioned there about when you have to hand something over, obviously, especially like, when it's on a project, for example, how you deliver things, although it's not the be all and end all, the easier it is for the other person or less friction it is for the other person can make a project go super smoothly. Do you think there is like a safe zone that you keep to where no matter what the thing is, it's going to be less friction?
Yeah, I think like, I mean, everyone uses Blender now in concept. So, I mean, I think Blender's the easiest and safest route to take. And I mean, like, I guess it depends what you're delivering as well. Like, if you're working on a big scene with someone, then you got to make sure everyone's on the same ship and everyone's on the same boat and knows exactly what they're doing. But if you're just delivering like 2D, I mean, sometimes you might get some messy assets or whatever, but like, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, if it's all consistent and it all has to be like that, then yeah, I think like, I mean, for me anyway, I think Blender is probably the best go-to. This is going to be a complete Blender podcast. Yeah.
That is true. Like when we first spoke, well, with that Phantom episode, that I don't even know where it is anymore. Blender, it was a case of like, never ever wanted to touch it. And when it kind of got like adopted, I think very soon after that, I was still not deliberately, but it's a case of like, I'll get around to it. I'm still happy with Maya. I can do what I need to do kind of thing. And now it's a case of like, it literally has taken over only because it's adapted so well and allows you to do so many things. Because Blender back then was still...
It's awful.
It was limited. I guess it's... Like you had to adapt to it rather than it adapt to you.
Like the whole software. I mean, it's a bit like Blender now. If you know all the shortcuts, great software.
Yeah.
But that's how it was. It was only shortcuts. There was nothing to click. And I remember I remember Jammer released like a Gumroad for like I think the grease tool had got like an update, and he was like sketching on top of 3D, and that was really cool. And I remember opening the software, and I clicked something, and I didn't know what happened, and I was just like, okay, cool, I've got to close this software now and open it again because I don't know how to get back. But now, I mean, like, I think literally like 4 months later, because that was 2.79 or 2.76, something like that years ago. And now it's like the software's completely different, which is, I mean, all the shortcuts still work. But that's the beauty of it. Is like, that's why I don't like when people like get somebody else's like layout and tools. Like, I can still kind of watch tutorials from like 10 years ago, and all the shortcuts still work because like nothing's changed. I think there's a few shortcuts that have changed, but like, majority of it exactly the same kind of programs. All like, if you love playing StarCraft, that's like what it's gonna be like. But yeah, it's nice that it has updated, because I wish some other software I won't name got a UI update. ZBrush.
Before we get here, what about other tools then? Like, which ones have you tried and just thought, nah, not for me?
You know what? I tried a lot. I think ZBrush is probably one of those tools that I used a lot, and I know how to use it, but it's got such a awful UI, and people will go, oh, but you can customize it. And I'll be like, yeah, you can. But like, I have to learn how to use it every time I open it, because I don't use it for long enough to like fully remember how to use the software. So like that for me is the only one. Like, I mean, I love 3D Coat because it's like, I don't know. I love the voxel sculpting because ZBrush is like weird 2D to then 3D sculpt editing doesn't make sense to me. I mean, obviously, if you use it a lot, it probably makes sense. But like, I think 3D Coat just has all the layers and the tools. So you just like, you just add a new like layer, or you add a new sphere. Like, I'm like, this makes sense. But I mean, ZBrush is one of those weird ones that I try not to touch very much. But I don't know. The more weird like 3D stuff, like I want to do some character stuff recently, and like I'm gonna have to learn how to do this, aren't I? I don't want to learn this tool. But I think that's probably the only one.
If you did, like, send specifically for a project, and it's like, say, an open world game, right? But you need a specific thing that you need to collect, and you have to go down that level that you don't want to go down, for example, but you just have to do it. How long do you think it would take you to get to a point where the frustrations are not a problem?
You know what? For ZBrush, probably a year or two. Like, I remember using Blender, and like, I think I got comfortable like 3 years later after, or 2 years later after using it.
Sounds about right.
I mean, but again, I picked up Blender when it was just in its weird UI transition phase, and it's so much better now. But like, I think probably a year or two. But I'd have to use it every day. And I don't want to use ZBrush every day. Because I think that's the thing. It's all like putting hours in, I think it's the same with anything. It's learning a tool is about putting hours in, and it's a lot of hours. I don't want to put that in.
I promise we'll change the topic soon. We won't stick to tools and software. But obviously, as a concept designer, like, how much do you lean on 3D, and do you need 3D to do what you need to do?
I think it depends on the project. I think if you're on something hard surfacey sci-fi, I think you're going to need 3D. But I think you need to be able to sketch as well. I think that's important, because like you can spend like 4 hours like modeling in this detail onto something, or you could spend 10 minutes doing line art over it. So I think 3D is definitely important at the end of the day for a final presentation. But I think definitely sketching is something that you need to be able to do. Especially like, I mean, I don't do too much sketching, but like I think it's important to be able to quickly explore those ideas without like because you will just spend hours like modeling in panel lines and stuff onto some object, and it doesn't even look good, and you've spent hours doing it. But if you take a screenshot of it, paint over it, and be like, okay, this looks bad, and you do it again, oh, this looks good, and then you can go back into your 3D and start modeling it, and you've wasted 10 minutes of your life doing that, versus if you just stuck with 3D, you'd be there for hours finding out it's not the right look. I mean, I guess, this is what concept art is, but like, it's definitely a good skill for the final, the final product. But like 2D, I think is definitely one of those things that you need to be able to do for the first initial pass, to be able to get those doodles, the sketches, the try to explore different ideas and get that first. And I mean, it's not like a solid process. You don't have to do, I've got to do the 2D and now I've got to do the 3D and I can't touch 2D ever again. You can just screenshot the 3D again and paint over it, and it's not like a fixed process. So I will say though, 2D is probably number one goated thing in this industry, and it's quicker. It's much quicker. You won't be wasting time doing it. So yeah.
And with sketching, like, is that something that you've always lent on, or is that something that you've grown to appreciate?
I think I don't know, it's weird. I think it's like that weird like meme graph with the dumb guy on the left and the smart guy on the right, and then the peak in the middle. It's like I was like, I love sketching, and then I'm like, oh no, 3D is the only way, and now I'm back going, I love sketching. So I think, I don't know, I really liked doing sketching, I think, when I first started, because 3D wasn't a thing. But now I don't know, it's a weird mix. I do enjoy the 3D a lot, but like, it's so much easier to just quickly give an idea over. I don't know. I'm also a bit lazy, so like, I'll try to fully finish the concept in 3D and it'll look amazing. But then there's sometimes you're just like, I'll just paint this stuff in because it's just quicker. Yeah. Like, you can, that extra like 10% you can do in 3D will take hours and hours, and sometimes you can just do it in 2D really quickly. So yeah, that's what I would that's what I do now.
What's your, I guess, on your tool belt now, what do you use as your go-to?
Plasticity is number one goated 3D software at the minute. I think, I don't know, if you like CAD, you like CAD. I love it. Yeah. The controls of it is very similar to Blender, because I think the guy that made it loved Blender. And
right.
So if you use Blender, plasticity just comes like, if you use like hard ops, stuff like that, like a lot of the tools are the same. Like to mirror in plasticity, it's just Alt X, just mirrors. So it's exactly the same shortcuts. But that's the number one. And then Blender, again, I do all the rendering in Blender and stuff like that. So yeah. And then Photoshop. But that one I dislike, but I have to use.
Yes.
I'm not getting an Adobe sponsorship.
Is plasticity and Blender almost like, technically you use it as one whole software if you could?
Yeah. I mean, I've got multiple monitors, so I have one screen plasticity modeling, and then Blender's purely like is the rendering screen. So it just, you can. It's got a beautiful live link, and I can just have my materials all set up and everything ready to go, and then I can just model, and it's great, and it works really, really well. So, but I mean, I've been doing a lot more modeling in Blender. So I've been using like plasticity for like a year kind of thing straight doing modeling. So when I jump back to Blender to do modeling, and I'm like, how does this work? And I'm like trying to do things how I would in plasticity. Like you can just click an edge and drag it and it bevels it. And I'm trying to do the same. And I'm like, why does this work? So yeah, it's a bit weird trying to jump between softwares, especially like, I don't know. I think it's weird when you like jump from a sculpting software to a 3D software, you go, oh, these shortcuts are kind of weird. And then you get into it. But like going from a modeling software to a modeling software, it's like super weird. That's the number one there on the tool belt.
Is it because of the subject matter that you've been working on, or is it more the way it works?
A bit both. I think I used Fusion a lot. I think just when you're doing hard surface sci-fi stuff, I think you're gonna look at CAD at some point because of like weird complex shapes and booleans and stuff like that. So I mean, you can do it in polymodeling, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you do it in polymodeling, you probably one of the better 3D artists because topology is awful, and making sure the surfaces look good. Like, I mean, it is a pain. It is a pain to do because I've done it. But like, yeah, there's a lot of guys I know that do like really nice hard surface stuff, and it's got beautiful topology, and I'm just like, this is great, but I don't want to do this. But yeah, I mean, you fall into CAD. I mean, I fell into CAD because of the topic and the subject. But yeah, I think Fusion 360 was that first like pipeline into it. But like, it is very real world. You have to do your sketches and stuff like that, and then extrude and all that. But plasticity, you can just draw a box out of like thin air. It definitely has drawbacks. I mean, like Fusion's great because you can go back to the original sketch in a timeline and be like, I don't like the shape, I can change it, and then you go forward and like, you know, in plasticity, if you don't like the sketch, you kind of got to start again. So I think like if you've come from Blender where everything's got like booleans and modifiers, then it'll probably be a very difficult kind of learning curve. But like this reminds me of Maya. Like if you messed up in Maya or like, you wanted to punch a hole in something in Maya, you duplicate it first, move it aside, and then you punch the hole, because sometimes Maya will break, like the software will break or the mesh will break or anything like that. So, yeah.
Oh, mate, I do that in everything, and I don't know why, but now I think I remember why. I think it was Maya. Like for that very reason, it was a case of like, you just need the safety just in case, because you know something's going to mess up. And I think with any software which allows you technically, there's always a duplicate somewhere just to fall back on. Although that's where Fusion, like you said, was super handy because you could just
you just go back in time and it's fine.
Like Prince of Persia, but the software version.
Yeah, but it's like, I've just got this graveyard of parts in like any plasticity file, and it's like, you just don't look over there. It's just all these hundreds of pieces. I might need it. I don't know. Yeah.
But I guess one cool thing about plasticity as well is the regular updates that seem to keep happening. Every time I open it, it seems to be like new versions out, and there's always something cool that isn't like, it seems deliberate in terms of what's there, and you can really see, at least from what I see, like, I can definitely see myself using that or making this a bit easier. So that's always a good sign. At least it's following that kind of Blender philosophy of constantly evolving. Going back to before software days, even before uni days, what got you into this? Was it a childhood thing or?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone kind of falls into like it's like doing drugs or something. I mean, everyone. I think everyone.
You think about it.
I mean, everyone kind of does the same. You'll see a film or anything like that, and you'll be like, "Oh, hang on, that's kind of cool." And I think for me, like, I mean, everyone loves. I mean, not everyone, but I love Star Wars, and I grew up watching that, and I think as soon as you watch the behind the scenes and stuff, you're like, "Oh, man, people make this." Oh my, this is crazy. I didn't know people make this kind of stuff. And then you grow up watching, I mean, I did. I grew up watching behind the scenes for everything, you know, Lord of the Rings. I remember like watching all the behind the scenes for Lord of the Rings and being like, whoa, look at all these guys making these props. And I'm like, oh, wow, people do painting for this. This is crazy. And then I remember the Tron movie coming out. The what was it? The 20 or the 2000, is it 2008? I think
Legacy, not the old school one.
No, not the old school one. The Disney one. That's kind of, I'm going to be honest, kind of like I want to say a bit of a cult classic now. Like when it came out,
so good.
It kind of bombed in the cinema. I don't think it did that well. I can't remember. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I don't remember it doing well in the cinema. And then, but like I think now, like it's so good, and the soundtrack is so good. And I think that was one of those moments where I was like, "Hey, what's this concept art stuff?" And then you just like, I think this was the time when I remember looking at like concept art and seeing like like thing zoo on YouTube, and like back then there was nothing. Like it's kind of crazy like how much stuff is online now for concept art, because like back then there was no Gumroad, there was no schools for it, there was nothing. Like if you wanted to look at concept art, I think in a school, the only place you could go to I think was Art Center to do entertainment design, and I think that was it. So at the time, looking at concept art, I mean, it's kind of, I'll be honest, the job is the nicheness of the job and how many jobs are available is getting to how it used to be. But like, yeah, at the time, there was nothing. Like, yeah, there was a handful of things you could look at for it, but you'd have to really know what you were looking for. So like, I think it was conceptart.org. I think that was about where people were posting paintings and stuff.
Yes.
I might have been wrong. Yeah, but like, yeah, again, there was nothing. So the only time you would see concept art, I guess, would be like on a behind the scenes DVD, and you would see it for like 2 seconds on a DVD of like a painting of a character, and you'd be like, whoa, this is cool. And then, everyone uploaded speed paints, which was just like time lapses or people painting really quickly on YouTube. And that was what it was like. And that's so long ago now. But yeah. It's crazy how much has changed, especially I want to say the accessibility of it. Like, yeah, like now I can just go on Google and type in like concept art tutorial, and like you find stuff straight away. 2023, 2022. It's amazing. But like back then it was like, I think it was like one Feng Zhu video just showing how to paint a landscape background, which I'll be honest, it's not really concept art. I mean, I guess it is because you're concepting a background, but like it's just a mood piece. But like it is crazy how it has changed.
Yeah, for sure. Same. Like I didn't even know what, I guess the term concept art, I would say, did get coined more when tutorials started becoming a thing, and it was more like, because the concept art is basically the deliverable of what someone's using, as opposed to, I guess, like the job title, so to speak. Maybe it was more so for accounting reasons or whatever. But otherwise, it was just a case of we need someone to make an image. Hence why all the different categories that you have now were all kind of lumped into one. Like if you could make an image, whether it's a sketch or to a fully rendered, beautiful, Dylan Cole level, like kind of environment piece, like that's all considered, and it still kind of is considered concept art. But yeah, like even like, again, just looping it back to when we, did that episode on Discord, just even looking at like just specific of 3D software now and how that's evolved and how our literacy has evolved in that particular software. Back then, just using it was one thing, let alone the different file types. I remember like even with Fusion 360, like just getting it into a file type that you could use in something like Maya that was kind of like still kept the, the tessellation or like the surfacing and that kind of stuff was like a big deal. And nowadays it's a case of just click, and obviously looking back a bit further or a bit wider, like concept art, it was a case of like, I remember going for the same things. It was like, wow, that would be so cool to do. I'd love to do that. When I was at uni, it was a case of like, I didn't go to uni to make stuff for films and games. I didn't know that was possible. I thought you had to kind of like just filter into it, somehow be invited to do that kind of thing. And seeing, things like on Minority Report, the branded vehicles and stuff like that as well. I was like, okay, yes. The iRobot car, for example, where that was like, that's something that someone can do. That's what I need to do. And obviously fast forward, now it's like a massive thing. And I think there'll be a nice documentary one day where someone's kind of like going to show off this kind of like subculture.
Yeah, and it'll start with like Sid Mead drawing something for like Blade Runner or something like that. It's crazy how it's changed. Just like a production artist or production designer, and now it's like I don't know, a bunch of different jobs like concept artists, concept designers. I mean, I guess it depends on the industry, but yeah, there's so much. It has completely, like, I guess, like splintered into a bunch of different stuff, which is cool.
Yeah. So back then, when you're seeing all this making of, by the way, the making of stuff, the more I see it and the more I dwell on it, makes me enjoy things even more. Have you seen 28 Years Later yet? Or into those kind of films?
I'm awful with watching films.
Fair enough. So I watched that recently, and I kind of enjoyed it in the cinemas, at least. I'd highly recommend watching it. But hearing the director and the writer, who are both excellent, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, in their own right, talk about it, their decision making, and their intention, which is deliberate. It wasn't a case of, we were in the movie, please go watch it, let's sell some tickets. Like, you could tell their intention behind it, how they were crafting it, what they wanted to do. That made me appreciate the film on a much higher level than what I did when I initially watched it. So yeah, that's my little kind of like love letter to the behind the scenes, because I think maybe kind of like helps me fill in the gaps that maybe I saw when I first watched it. What about for yourself? Why do you like behind the scenes? Is it just to figure out, to see like how things were made? Is that because sometimes that's just enough, right? Like, just want to see how things tick and the inner workings of things.
Yeah, I think, I think it's changed now, but I think back then, it was like, how does this work? Like, I want to, I mean, films and games are kind of crazy things that I don't know how they get put together, because like everything's rushed and everything's last minute. So it's amazing that they get made. But like, I think back then it was purely like, oh shit, that's Davy Jones actually not a guy. It's not a squid. It's a guy in a suit with makeup on. This is crazy. And, I think as a kid watching stuff like that, you're like, this is crazy. I want to see more of how it's made. Now when I see like the Weta stuff, like recently we had the creator that came out a couple of years ago. Just seeing the props, like people can say about, people comment about films about whatever, but like, I think I love seeing the craft put into it, because it's just you see, like, go on, like, anybody listening, go to Weta's art station and go look at the props and the concept design. And I think like now, I think doing it, I think I respect it more, because, I think there's sometimes you'll get things that are just done for a quick cash and, whatever. I think that's fine. At the end of the day, companies are making products to sell. But I think when you see like these props get made, it really does feel like a love letter, and it feels like, kind of this thing that people care about the craft. And I love that, because some of the guns they did, somebody's got to concept it, somebody's got to 3D model it, and then, somebody's out there then painting it and weathering it. And then, they had even in I don't know if it was creator, maybe it was Avatar, they had like a little, I don't know what it is, but it looks like a moisture dispenser on the gun next to an LED. So it looks like there's real muzzle flash. And I'm like,
sick.
For the whole filmmaking thing, obviously you can get guns that shoot blanks and, they're really safe on set. But like something like this, it's like, it's still really good for filmmaking. And I don't know, there's something about seeing all the kind of the love and the care that goes into something like that. And I thought the film was good. Some people don't like it. It is one of those things, but I can't dispute it not looking good. And it's really nice where you get to see that real practical stuff mixed with the VFX and CG. So, I think for me, I think it's definitely now when I watch a film, it's see the behind the scenes stuff, I think is really cool now, because it's just like, okay, did these people actually love and care for this thing? Or is it just like another quick cash grab? And so, whenever I see a Weta project, I just look at the Weta design and the props team, and I'm just like, it's just great. It's just great. And I think, for me personally, I'd love to make props, because I don't know, there's something about 3D modeling. Like 3D modeling is great, and it's when you click render and it's done, and that's cool. But I think just being able to hold something you make, I think there's something really cool about that. So I don't know. Maybe that's something I'll do in the future. I don't know.
Cool. That's going to be my next question. Like, have you dabbled in anything like that?
I'd love to. I don't know. It's really like, I don't know. Maybe I'll buy a 3D printer or something like that. But it is definitely something I'd love to do. I don't know what the laws are on owning guns in the UK. I'm probably not owning many. I know you're not allowed to, but a lot of the designs I've done have been of guns and stuff. But I feel like somebody I know did a really cool prop and 3D resin printed it, and it was made for like a film, and like just being able to like 3D model something and see it and hold it, I think that's cool. That's really cool. I mean,
yes,
don't get me wrong, like I think there's like the original like prop making of like going through and making a cast and then casting it in a plastic, and that's definitely that I don't think has been lost, but I think like being able to 3D print something out of resin, it's just I think it's I guess streamlines the process for people that don't know what they're doing like me.
Yeah.
So I don't have to like make a plaster mold and then pour like some kind of resin or something in it myself. So yeah, maybe in the future. That'd be cool.
That's interesting. We're aligned in that. Like that's something I've been thinking of more and more. Like again, not to just repeat what you just said, but yeah, your essential love letter with making of and appreciation of these kind of things, and not only the finished product, but then also the effort and the craft that's gone into it equally as well. Like that's something that I just absolutely relish. And even again, thinking more of like, okay, yes, cool. There's a digital side of things done. How would it feel? How would it look? How would it be if it was an actual model, a thing?
Yeah.
Whether it's more like an exercise in modeling or more just to, I remember college even, before even digital software was a thing for myself, we used to get taught how to do maquettes for our 3D designs, which is basically like, mock-ups and stuff. And yeah, just seeing things in 3D space, like it's super, super useful. So yeah, every time I see you, I'm going to be checking in. Like, have you started it yet? And, when's it going to happen? Also, yeah, with Weta stuff, when I was at uni, this was before I pivoted towards concept art because I was doing transport design at the time. That was 2009. I was on a placement which was doing concept art, and that's another story in itself. I remember researching. We was told research different studios and stuff, and there's a studio that was on Weta, and they had, I don't know if they called it District 9 at the time, but it was what ended up being District 9. And they used to have on their website in little like icons of what they were doing. So they never showed any concept work. They just had this list of things, vehicles, characters, props, and whatever else. And it was okay, intriguing. Because again, since I discovered a workshop, which I think was because of Lord of the Rings, I think that was the birth of it.
Yeah.
Anything they've done that I've noticed has just hit the mark every single time. Whether you're looking at Guardians of the Galaxy, Lord of the Rings, District 9, The Creator, and so many things in between. Yeah, exactly. And it's because I think they do, or they appreciate the full spectrum of the creative process, whether it's purely digital, visual effects and all that cutting edge stuff, all the way down to just prop makers.
Yeah. I mean, like the stuff on Avatar too, they, I can't remember the name, but the water tribe, whatever, they did all the costumes in real, they did real costumes. Like I think, I can't remember her name, Deborah. She was like, I think the head of the costume. I'm going to get it wrong, but all of the costumes were done real, and they are gorgeous. Like they are immaculate pieces of art, every single costume. And then they get photoed and they get photo scanned, and then they, then they get done in digital just because they wanted to see how the costumes would look and hang on the bodies of the actors in real life to then simulate it in person. And I mean, there's not going to be many projects you can do that because it was a bit of a, James Cameron just had unlimited budget because it was his own money.
Yes.
And obviously at the end of the day, like if you make a big budget Hollywood blockbuster, nobody's going to care about how a costume hangs on a CG actor. But just being able to do that, it's just art. It absolute love letter to the craft.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, interrupt you.
No. I was just going to jump in there with something Avatar related, but now it's skipping my mind. Move on to the next thing. Do you ever watch Adam Savage's stuff? Like
his great YouTube channel. I'd love to.
He does like these. There's always like these prop centric episodes where I think like he goes to the just reviews like the props that were made for particular films. And yeah, there's so many. And one thing that kind of always disappoints me is when I see stuff made for film. It's because it's like, obviously, it has to be fake because you can't make laser guns and that kind of stuff. But the fact that they're not actual laser guns, like, you know, it doesn't, like, when you got like a camera, for example, the clicks, the buttons all have a purpose and they all work. Whereas these, it's all like props and stuff, or pretend. But obviously that's, you know, just me being extra. Nevertheless, some of the detail and the extent that these prop makers did go through from some of the older films, where before, you know, CGI and stuff versus through till now, is absolutely insane. I think two in particular that really stood out for me in recent times, there's so many in there, was I think one of the props, one of the retina scanners from Blade Runner 2049, and equally the prop for Ed 209. I'd have seen the original RoboCop.
No.
Oh, cool. No. Okay. I'd highly recommend just RoboCop. The original RoboCop is one of my favorite films of all time. And for me, Ed 209 is one of the best mechs ever, full stop. And just seeing how...
Is that the...
You must have seen Ed 209.
With the two guns?
Yes. I
think so.
And it's got like a... Its front looks like a mic / you know...
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
So the little deep dive he does in terms of like how the prop maker went about in terms of like articulating it and making it move and stuff. And again, through Adam Savage's lens, because I don't know anything about prop making, how he geeked out over the solutions that someone came up with was pretty cool to see. What kind of props, not to make you do like a top 10 or anything, but which ones jump to you through maybe obviously through film or whatever else, even games, for example, or maybe just even real life stuff? Which ones do you like cherish, or when you look at them like, okay, that's maximum inspiration and you're just in awe?
Oh man, what a question. You know what? I think I'd have to say like, I don't know, definitely a Star Wars prop would be up there. Can I call a ship a prop? I mean, the little ILM vehicles for little props.
We can today.
I'd say probably like the slave one from episode 5.
Yes.
I think, I don't know, it's one of those weird designs where the original concept, I guess, the original inspiration was like a street lamp in LA, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, it literally looked like it's just straight up a street lamp. Wow. Anyway, the ILM model for it is amazing. I've seen some videos of like, I think it going around a few conventions in the States, and it's just crazy. I mean, like, it's just fully like kit bashed, and then obviously like the front of it's modeled and with like styrene and stuff like that. But like, it's just a crazy prop. I think anything Star Wars, like the little ILM models, I think are probably up there for my, I guess, props. I don't know, but like an actual like little prop, I really can't think of anything. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Right, let's narrow it down. What about weapons?
I think Blade Runner's Deckard's gun. I think that's got to be up there. But it feels so cliche to say that, because I feel like everyone's going to say that. Actually, the what was they had the cool little device that Ryan Gosling used in 2049. I can't remember what it's called. He had like his little scanner thing.
Things.
Oh, what was it?
What Mike Hill designed?
Maybe. It was a little like.
I don't think Ryan Gosling used that.
I don't know. It was like a little scanner device. It was like a little, it's like this little flip phone. That's just a really. I think Mike Hill did design it.
That's the prop I was talking about in the Adam Savage episode.
Oh, was it?
Oh, right. Over, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's like fully articulating, almost like legit working. In terms of like how it articulates and lights up and stuff like that as well.
But it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's so well made. It doesn't really work. I mean, there's loads of props like that though, where just like somebody will put all this like time and like details and everything into it, and it's not even seen on camera. So like all of this work's gone into this tiny little thing that you might see like a little blurry little like, 10 pixels of. And it's like someone's gone through loads of time and effort and it's just like cut out of a film. But I mean, as that's, I guess, what films are. But yeah, you kind of just want to go look at all these props. I mean, that's kind of, that's why I say like, I'd love to make props just because you get to spend time detailing. Like I did some of my guns and, I went through and made stickers and like some of the renders, I don't think I even showed some of the stickers in the renders, but it's one of those things like I could just imagine holding it and like, looking at that and like, I don't know. I think you can be really extra and do all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm lazy and I don't, but sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, let's put some logos that no one's going to see, or let's model the underneath it that no one's going to see. Only I can see the 3D model of.
But is that important to you in terms of the creative process? Like, obviously you can always get away with not doing that, but do you think it's you helping yourself in the design process, or is it indulgence?
Yeah, I think it's indulgence. But honestly, I think it's important. I think if you're doing client work, I think you need to hit those key points that you need to hit. And then again, it depends what the client wants. If you can go over the top and be weird with it, then I think go for it. I think don't not do that. But I think again, you have to, if you've got a deadline, you've got this brief to hit, and you need to hit it by blah blah blah, you've kind of got to do it. But I think for personal work, I think that's where you can be extra with it. And I think if you're just, I don't know, I don't want to sound bad, but like if you, I don't want to say cruising by, but like if you're thinking, oh, it's good enough, and oh yeah, then I'll do this, and then that'll be good enough, I'll post on it. I'm like, why? Like, come on. Like, you could just put that thing underneath the model. No one's going to see it, but you're going to know how much extra effort you spent on that. I don't know. I think definitely for sure. It's, you've got to learn that balance. And I think when you're doing personal work that's trying to attract kind of like clients, again, you've kind of got to, you can't go 100% to attract the clients, because then the client's going to be like, hey, can you do that for us? And then you'll be like, yeah, I can do that. But again, I think like, I mean, you look at like people like Ash Thorpe and Carlos Sponge Pequeno, their make haste thing. Their cars are kind of like, for me, I feel like that is kind of like, that is creme de la creme. That is the bar, and they could stop and go, that's good enough, and upload it. But it's that extra 10% of like push. And that's the thing where I'm like, you need to do. And I mean, like, you not necessarily you need to do it for client work, but like, I think sometimes you need to make things and like just push yourself to kind of, what would the extra 10% be? Whether or not it's painting or whether or not it's like doing the 3D or, whatever. I think it's good to challenge yourself. I mean, I did this car project a couple of years ago. And again, I was like, I want to hit that same level. And it's so difficult to hit that same level. And that's kind of like that's the time put in the seat, that is coming down to how long have you spent doing this, and can you push to that? It's the same with anything. It's like, doing a painting and working on the rendering for the the oil painting or whatever, and it's knowing where to go and where to stop. It's that kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely is beautiful when you get to see that little bit of indulgence though that people do. I mean, personally, I've got a lot of personal work that I'm not going to show ever until it's like finished. But it is that kind of thing. It's like, I want to do this weird stuff that no one's going to see, because sometimes it's just fun as well. I think that's the most important thing. It's sometimes you got to push yourself, and sometimes also just do stuff that's for you. I think that's the most important thing. Like, I did a really nice mentorship with Satish Kumar. I think that was 2 years ago now. Ooh, 3 years ago. I can't remember. Anyway, but it was really good. And it was one of those things that's like, oh yeah, art's kind of fun. And it doesn't have to like necessarily be doing stuff for ArtStation, and it can just be for yourself. And I think that's really important, to have a project that's, I mean, you can post eventually, but I think having a project that you're not like expecting likes or expecting like anything like that, I think that's, really good, because you can do weird stuff then, because like no one's going to see it. So like, I'm doing this weird concept, and like some people might go, oh, that's really weird. Oh, that's bad. It's like, who cares? No one's going to see this. Like, this is my concept. Yes. So, I don't know. I guess that's the art part in me and not the designer part in me.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that. And I think it's natural. I think everybody goes through that stage, and maybe they come out of the stage and go back into the stage where the likes, which we can translate to being just validation, like a substitution of validation, is like, that's what you need to see if you qualify, for example, because it's a subjective thing that we do. It's not easy. If you want to call yourself a billionaire, it's pretty easy how to get there. Like, you just, in terms of numbers at least, what the number is to determine if you are one or not. But an art billionaire, it's a little bit different. So that's where like, likes and things like that come into it. But then there's also that nice experience when you kind of break free from that, like you just explained, and it's like freeing, maybe makes you work even more. Have you kind of gone back into that zone, or are you completely separate from that kind of experience with ArtStation now?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I this year, last year, it's kind of, I've been doing some more like commercial style work, because unfortunately, sometimes you need work to earn money. But I've been doing a nice personal project. And again, like eventually I'd love to have an art book and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be purely, but like at the minute, like I'm just trying to figure out and have fun in this kind of world, designing things, and seeing how stuff works and all that kind of stuff, and trying to come up with something and taking my time thinking about it, because like at the end of the day, I don't really want to copy someone. And I don't want to do just like I've got this civilization. I'll just look at like, I don't know, Polynesian culture and copy that. Like, I don't want to do that. But at the same time, it's really difficult to come up with something new. It's definitely something I've been enjoying though. And it definitely is that kind of thing of like, I don't know, my art brain, where I want to come up with something weird first. And does the idea work in the world? Like, if I'm not going to say, I don't want to say anything about it. It's a really cool project. I don't want to say anything about it.
Fair enough.
But it is that kind of thing, where you have to kind of, I want to make sure the idea is weird, and then work a nice design into that. Like, I've got like this design of like a sled, like a nice little hover sled, let's say. And does it work in the world? Does it fit the form language of the world? What is it carrying? Does the cargo of what it's carrying match? Like, how does it drive? Like, it's all of those questions that kind of like, that you come to like ask about a piece of design, but like, it's got to live in that weird world first. And I think that's the kind of thing where it's nice, where you can use the art brain of thinking of something weird, but then using the design brain to think about how does it work in that environment. And I think that's kind of fun. But yeah.
I love to hear it. And I love that approach. Like, touching upon what you just mentioned a few moments ago about using National Card as an example, and like what it is to push that 10% versus obviously that you can have the dialogue where, yes, you can be economical, be strategic, and be like, you don't need to push that. Like, if you've got enough for what you need, you can, flip it or whatever you got to do to it, make some money off it or for whatever, and the job's done. But I think that's the difference with makers and creators, for example. Like, it is a case of like, the act of doing the craft is more addictive maybe than the final result. And then you have to like keep pushing, and that's where the 10% comes from. And maybe it's an addiction thing. I don't know. Maybe it's more of trying to achieve a better score than last time, like a Tetris effect, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just love doing it. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, it is. I like how you describe it as a problem, but it's poetic as well in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely. I think there's nothing. Unfortunately, I think this job is a commercial job, and you will just make things because something needs to go on X film or be in X game, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think, I don't know. I love doing art. I think for myself, which is, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like you just do it because I'm gonna be honest. I'm really bad with the kind of playing games because I just kind of want to. I don't know. I'm like, I've got to get back on the grind. And I mean, obviously, I say that, but like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a grind. It's just like I think it is, like you said. I think it is an addiction. I think I'm just so used to kind of getting up and doing it that I'm just like, I don't know. I can't.
Would I think I open that is your game.
Yeah, I mean, I think I open Blender every day easily.
Right.
Whether or not it's like I complete a piece of work in it, but like, I'll mess about in it for like, a couple hours, and if not, the whole day. I think it's just one of those things. I don't know. I think I love the creative process more than I love the final product. Again, it's so difficult. I won't say I'm like perfectionist about it, but like, when you look at your image, you're like, I just need to go fix this. I just need to fix this. I just need to fix this. And I think that's there's always stuff to do looking at an image. And you can easily I think commercially, you can just say, this is done and needs to be finished. It's done. Let's move on to the next image. But like personal work is just like, no, I'll just change this bit. I'll just change this bit. Let me just change. And then there's so much you can keep doing. And I think, I don't know, maybe that's the addictive thing for it. And I mean, like, I was doing this design today, this morning to like, in the afternoon when I stopped working on it, completely different. And I don't know, it's just because I'm like, because I'm like, as soon as I put like, it was kind of, I was just doing like silhouettes for like something. So it's just block out and like kind of kit bashy. Right. And I'm like, okay, I need to put a person here, like a cockpit for like scale. And I'm just like, okay, now I need to completely change the design. Because now as soon as I put a person in it and like the kind of design is for a person, the whole thing's got to change. Yes. So like you try and keep bits, then you go, it doesn't look, and then I'll change this bit and then I'll change, and it's completely different now. But yeah, I think there's just something about definitely an addictive nature. I think just not being able to, I don't know, not do work, which is, I don't know, probably not a good thing.
Well, I think it's how you nurture it and how you, I guess, like let the energy of it come out. Obviously, if you go like too hardcore on something and you burn out, but you keep doing it, that's when things can get a bit crazy. Yeah. How is it for you though? Like, do you get burnt out from it, or do things just kind of like just peter a little bit? They kind of plateau and then they kind of like pick back up again. Like how does it work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I do get burnt out quite a lot.
Right.
I think it's really difficult. A burnout is something that kind of it just does creep up on you. I think for personal work, I like to have a lot of things on the go. Like I think I've got like 4 projects going on at the minute, which I'll just like, I'll do this today and then I'll do this today and then I'll do this today. Just depending on how I feel. Like today I'm working on something that's completely different to what I was doing yesterday. But then like last week, I spent the whole week doing the project I'm doing today. But it's just, some days you're just like, I want a break. I don't want to work on, I don't know, hard surface sci-fi. I don't want to do this today. I want to do fantasy work or, that kind of thing. But I think, I think burnout is definitely difficult and it definitely creeps up on you. Like I've had it quite a few times and I definitely struggle with it a lot. I think that's probably why I have like a bunch of different projects, because I don't know, I kind of get bored of the same thing. And when I'm doing that same thing, over and over. It's just like, oh, I need a break. I need a break. I need to do something different. And I feel, I don't know, for me personally, everyone's different. For me personally, I think like when I'm working on something for that long, the burnout does creep in, and then you're not doing your best work because like you're kind of like, I guess, tunneling down a really like narrow mindset of I've got to do this design and this, and like sometimes you might not explore ideas unless like you're working on something else. You'd be like, oh yeah, that's a really weird design. I can do that in this project, So that's the kind of thing. I don't know. I think it's, I don't know. Is it like, I don't know. Is it keeping your brain flexible and stuff like that? Maybe. I don't. But that's the kind of thing where it's, it's nice to be able to do lots of different things and I guess get inspiration from different places instead of just like tunneling down, looking at the same thing over and over again. So, yeah.
Do you have a decent grasp on overcoming the burnout? Do you know what to do when it happens?
No, I don't, Aaron. I'm honestly, it's just a break. But again, like I say, you just don't, it's something that does, I mean, for me anyway, it creeps up in the background until I feel awful. And then unfortunately I'm forced to take a break because I feel awful. But yeah, I mean, again, I think it's just not taking on too much stuff and make sure you're sleeping 9 hours a night, and, and eating healthy and exercise, all of that. And I think, yeah, again, like make sure you're not working 16 hours a day every single day for weeks. But again, like we talk about the addictive nature of doing art, and some days you just sat there doing art for the whole day and you're like, oh, wow. Oh, I've missed lunchtime and dinner today. It's that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. For different people, you'll feel differently about burnout. For me, I think I definitely got better at knowing the signs. But again, it's just so difficult. I mean, it's kind of like I described like doing this job as like being an athlete. Obviously, we're not winning competitions or anything, but like
I agree with you. Yeah,
you have to work out every day to keep healthy, to keep your stamina. You got to make sure you're fast. You got to make sure you can keep up with these new athletes that are coming up, and it is kind of difficult to oh, I've got to do all this. Oh no, this burnout's creeping in. I've got to keep going. It's like it's learning when to stop and when to recover. And I think that, yeah, I mean, I think everyone finds out what burnout is in the most awful way. They will, I think everyone will be like, I can do it. I'm the best ever. Because I did that. And then you just go like, oh, I feel like crap. This is awful. I'm burnt out. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah.
You mentioned the things you want to create and you use the word weird. Why did you use that specific word and what does it mean for you?
Just doing something that I don't think anybody, I don't know. When you show it to someone, are they going to be like, oh, well, that's amazing, or oh, I don't get it? And I don't know. I think like doing art is like a personal thing. Some people won't get it, some people do. And I think definitely it's kind of like, design and art are kind of similar things. They are both like visual media. Designing is something, definitely to make sure something works and something looks good. Again, looking good is subjective. But like, I think doing something weird is like, I don't want to make something that's kind of like generic and can kind of be like, I don't know, not generic, but like, I don't want to make something that's going to be like for everyone, because then it's kind of going to be kind of generic and mid at the end of the day. Like, I don't know. I think it's why, like, honestly, it's worth making unfortunately, this job is like I said earlier, like it's a commercial job. You have to make things for everyone, but not for everyone. Like, when you make something for the Marvel movie, you're kind of, unfortunately, it is a product and it has to be made for like the biggest market they can kind of get. So like the work you're doing, like, of a Marvel superhero or whatever, like it's gonna be great. But there's gonna be somebody who's making like a much weirder thing that less people are gonna like, but it might be a cooler design and it might be weirder. Like, and I kind of, I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to see that. It's like, you know, when you look at like something like Mobius, um, the designs of that, are they for everyone? Probably not. Some people are going to be like, I don't get it. What is this weird comic? I don't get it. Is it like, if somebody came out now today and posted out on ArtStation, would that be at the top of ArtStation? Probably not, because it's going to be too weird and people like, how many people are going to follow it? I mean, I guess like every artist, you will eventually get like kind of like a following, depending on how much exposure and all that kind of stuff. So I think eventually, but like if you did that versus like generic sci-fi thing that's kind of like looks similar to something else, people are gonna see that thing and be like, wow, that's kind of cool. That looks like this. And you know, but do you want to make the thing that looks like something else that kind of looks like this? So I don't know. I think it's really difficult to kind of. It's like, well, I mean, it's like everything. It's like, you know, George Lucas doing Star Wars. He looked at like, you know, Akira Kurosawa's, you know, Hidden Fortress and like, you know, nice Western films. And there's lots of inspirations taken from everywhere. But it still has like kind of its own weird thing. And at the time when it came out, it was like, you know, he got all his funding and he was like, yeah, but I want all the rights to X, X, and X. And the film studio was like, yeah, sure, this film's going to be awful. It's going to tank in the cinema. And it came out and it was weird, but everyone like, it was like, wow, this weird thing's kind of cool. I like this. And now, you know, it's, you know, so I don't know. I think it's definitely worth doing weird stuff. I think, especially for yourself, like who cares? Like if it's weird and like nobody likes it, it doesn't matter. As long as you like it when you're doing it. But also like a lot of those times you can't like, if you're in a production, you can't like research things for like a week or 2 weeks and be like, oh, what does this look like? Oh, does this to this? Like, how do I make this look like this? Or, you know, is there any relation? You can't spend that time doing that because it takes for ages. Like the studio wants you to make 10 pieces by now. You've wasted 2 weeks, dude. You know, it's that kind of thing. So
yes,
it's, I don't know. Personally for me, I think making weird stuff's great. Especially like, who cares if you're doing it for yourself? Because no one's going to see it. Or if you do post it, like, doesn't really matter, you know?
Love it. Your career. Let us know about it and how has it shaped you?
Well, we did a little bit of freelancing here and there. COVID happened. That was fun. Went hard. Got a nice job at Cloud Imperium Games. And that was really good. It was a really nice learning experience and got to work with some really, really, really talented people. And then back to freelancing. I mean, again, it's the worst thing ever, but I can't talk about any projects, but
fair enough.
I mean, I think CIG is definitely like, I mean, that's the only studio I've worked in. I mean, I've worked with studios for a long period, but like, that's the only studio I've worked in. And I don't know, getting to work in a studio is great though, because like you get to spend time with people. They become mates. And I think, you do get to learn a lot. And that's definitely, I think, your first 6 months in a studio, working under someone who's going to tell you like, oh, you need to do, oh, this is how I did this. And it helps you, like, it really does shape you as an artist. Much easier than going straight into freelance. Going straight into freelance is just like, you are learning by your own mistakes, which is not bad, but it's so difficult. But yeah, working with an artist or working with a team of artists is so useful because I feel like it's so different. Like if you're in a studio or working with a studio versus like doing a job as a freelancer, like job as a freelancer, you're going to maybe speaking to the director or maybe one or two artists and that's kind of it. But it's more like, here's the piece. Let's talk about it. Is there any feedback? And then, you know, the client will see it, whatever. But like working with the studios, like you get to work on a piece together. People can pitch in their ideas, and you get to tailor this piece of art. Yeah, but yeah, it's unfortunately I can't talk about much because it's all under NDA slash cancelled. So it's one of those things. It's a little bit annoying.
Studio versus freelance, and I guess that's not more of a versus thing, more of a comparison. So you experience both. Do you have a favorite?
You know what? I think I love the people in a studio. I think it's just hanging out and getting to know people as a team is so good. But personally, I think the freelance, because I'd like the variety of projects. But again, it depends on the studio, because some studios, if you're working at like an outsourced studio or something like that, you'll have different projects come in. But like for me, I kind of need that different project because I want to. Unfortunately, it sounds bad, but I'll get burnt out on that one project for too long. So if any recruiters are listening to me right now, I love working on games for a long time. I love working on films for a long time. Hire me. But yeah, so that's the pure reason of freelance is I like the flexibility it brings. And I think, because some days you're just like, I need a day off today, or, I'm going to work tonight throughout the night. And, you can't do that in a studio because, I mean, depending on if you're hybrid. So, or if you ask for a day off, but like, yeah, you can't go into work at 8 p.m. and work till 3, you can't do that in a studio. People are going to be like, why are you leaving work at 9 a.m.? You'd be like, I've been here for 16 hours already. You can't do that. So, but yeah, I'm probably going to be breaking lots of laws, working laws saying that working for 16 hours, but there you go.
What else would you like in your career, or what would you like to either manifest or happen or achieve in your career?
I think honestly, I'd love to do an art book. I think that's a dream. I mean, like you look at any concept art book, I've got all of these books on my shelf, and I think honestly, my favorite art book, I think if anybody listening wants to get an art book, and if you don't have it, is get the Star Wars Force Awakens concept art book. I think that's probably one of the best art books I've got because it shows you what I think kind of truly what happens in film and games and how stuff comes out different at the end. Because
is that the one with Kylo Ren in the front with his lightsaber in the snow?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it talks about Jakku. In case you haven't seen this, it's literally Mos Eisley Tatooine 2. But in the concept art, the planet was meant to be underwater. And I'm like, that's so much cooler than the film. What the hell? They should have done that. Again, it's very difficult to film with water. You look at Avatar 2, James Cameron spent unlimited funds doing stuff in water and as actors with water. Like, it is expensive. Yes. So it's such a cool concept, but you just know that they just went, we do not have the budget to do this, J.J. Abrams. It's a desert or nothing. But yeah, I mean, personally, I'd love an art book because it would just be great to, I don't know, see all your art in a nice like hardback thing. But yeah, it's a lot of pages. Like those things are like 200 pages. Like that's a lot of paintings I've got to do. But yeah, I don't know, something like that. And then I'd love to make a game, whether it be indie or big AAA. I think making a game would be really fun. I did that at uni. And it's nice just to work with people. And also, it's like great to walk around environments. Like you get to concept environments and walk around it. Or, even now, like unfortunately, like Unreal's like you can have huge meshes in Unreal, which is like great for performance.
Yes.
But like, yeah, you can just sculpt stuff and put it in Unreal and walk around it. And it's like, I've been doing that recently with like personal project, and it's so fun just to walk around, this giant environment that you made in Blender. But yeah, I think something like that would be cool. Or Weta hiring me. I'd love to work for Weta. If anybody's listening at Weta, I'd love to work there.
Well, before we head off, any final words, thoughts, or anecdotes from yourself to the listeners?
Just make some nice art. Just do that. Yeah, make nice art. Make art for yourself. Don't make art for others. Make art for yourself. Yeah, that'd be my final word.
Well, finally glad we got this done. Thanks so much, not only just for jumping on today, but basically helping be the genesis to this whole thing.
Oh, wow. What an honor.
A massive thanks to Will for jumping on. Please hit the links to see what he's up to and to give him a follow. Then head to learnsquare.com and take our courses just like Will has done on his journey. I've been your host, Aaron Danda. Till next time.